Hey, this is Scott Spears, along with Kerrington, Nelson, and Matt Morgan, and this is a bonus edition of The Exchange because we had so much to talk about. You get 2 episodes this week for the price of 1. Isn't that nice? And we've got current events during this episode. Last week we went over the Mary Ellen Withrow events and the Turn Up the Heat dance and all the newspaper articles and all the fun we had in cults and so on and so forth. And now we get back to the current events, what made this show what it is today. Now, this is interesting. We've talked a lot about certainly the Kelsey family and the brothers and the whole Taylor Swift la-di-da. But we learned this week that Jason Kelsey is retiring. He announced, and he got emotional as he was retiring because he said he doesn't know what's next. In his life, he's saying, now what? This is all I've known for the last 10 or so years. So he's reached the point of the end of the road. The train got to the last stop. So, have you ever felt like this? Like, what's next? And what do you do when you feel like that?
I don't think I've ever felt like that personally, no, but I know that, there was an interview, I can't remember with who, it was an NBA player, and they asked him how he, what life was like since he's retired from basketball, and he said that his life was miserable.
I think you miss it.
Because he had dedicated his life for, 30-some-odd years to, basketball, from, grade school all the way up to professionals. So then to stop doing that, you've been doing it your whole life. It's definitely got to be a strange feeling.
Yeah, I think you miss it, but I think you do need to leave it at a point. I think that's the problem, is people stay too long because they do love it. I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, we've had this discussion on levels before, but I think it's good that he's retiring. He's retiring. He was still a good player. He was still well thought of. His brother just won the Super Bowl again. It's a good time to get out. Don't hang out until you're old and injured and people are like, oh, that poor guy.
Yeah, he's getting beat up on. I think I've definitely felt this way. Whenever I graduated college, I felt like that because I had, school growing up, and then as soon as I graduated high school, I started college that fall, and then I had that for another 4 years. So whenever you end that, it's kind of like, oh, wow, time to do your career and, adult job and stuff. But I think that I was able to handle it by just being like, okay, I'm just going to do things that I like this day and not try to think about, I need to decide on a career forever, and, kind of just take it one day at a time, and things work out eventually. I mean, I wouldn't have expected myself to be here, but you just one day things just happen, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, here's my life and I'm living it.
Well, I think that's part of it. I think things fall out of the sky. I've always believed in the things falling out of the sky theory, and be aware of those things falling out of the sky, because not everything is written. Not everything is just, I should do this, I should do that, I should do this, I should do that. If something falls out of the sky and you really like it and you really enjoy it, you should not walk away from it. You should pay attention to that, and because missed opportunities are a big thing. And I think this man, Jason Kelsey, did not miss his opportunity. He stayed with that team and he did good, but you could miss it. I don't know this is what he wanted to do.
I'm sure he'll miss it. I mean, it sounds like even in his speech that he was I don't know what's going to come next. He's got some fears around the entire
Well, he was
thing.
crying. I mean, clearly it's hard to leave.
Yeah.
The last episode is always hard.
Yeah.
I mean, you can think it's not going to be, but when you know you're coming there to do it for the last time, that you do get a little, it's tough. Because it's something if it's something you've enjoyed, if it's something you haven't enjoyed, it's not sad to leave. But when it's something you enjoyed, you can't just come in and say, okay, it's been great, goodbye. That's very hard when you know you're signing off for the last time.
That's true. I don't know. I kind of disagree for me personally. I feel like every time I've done something for the last time, I've been like, oh, this is it. And then I just kind of leave. And then I'm like,
Well, maybe you never loved
what thing am I going to do next? Maybe. That's it. I don't know. I just remember for high school sports, you have a senior night where you're supposed to give little speeches and be like, oh, thanks for all this and everything. And people were crying and I don't know, that was really dramatic. And I was like, this is kind of funny. And some guy paid me $20 if I mentioned him in my speech, so I was like, I'm gonna make some money tonight. So I don't know, it wasn't super emotional and sentimental.
Some guy offered you $20. What guy?
To mention him, it was one of the other girls' dads. If I talked about his impact on my life in my senior speech when I was leaving soccer.
And he didn't have any impact.
I know. I met him a couple times. But he gave me $20.
Hey, I would have done it for the 20.
Yeah, but I don't. Why would he do that?
Because he thought it'd be funny. He
Yeah.
said,
Oh.
actually, it was our freshman year. He said, man, I want to get like mentioned in one of these speeches sometimes. Like I would pay somebody money, and then me and my friend never forgot about it. And so whenever we were finally seniors, we were like, hey, you want to give us $20 to get mentioned in our speech?
You know, I'll tell you something though. Now here's an interesting thing. Now this is something I would never dream as a topic on its own, but here it comes. Now, I think, okay, yeah, I'm okay for funny. I like jokes. That's good. But I think when you're having a sentimental moment, I don't think it's good to pop that bubble. You don't realize how awkward that looks in the moment. And I think you also don't realize how then insignificant people look at that and say, oh, okay, well, I guess that person was a big experience in their life. You know, maybe I was not. And then you start saying, oh, are they just saying that to say that? I think it just, in emotional moments, I think insincerity is not the best idea. It's interesting because when we were going over those speeches last week, there were things in there that I'm telling you, if you had said what you thought were perfectly normal to say, they would have went over like, you know, a baby's full diaper. It would have been bad. But you gotta know where you are. You gotta know the room, and it's more about the audience than you. I think that's one of the big problems is people think it's about me. I can do what I want, so it's about me. But it really isn't. It's not about you, because if it was about you, you could do that in a room by yourself. Mm-hmm. It's about them. It's about explaining your gratitude towards somebody else. I'm all for the joke. I think the joke's fine, but I don't think the last moment is a good time for the joke.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I don't know. This was over like the PA system. I feel like you couldn't hear very well. Like in a different circumstance, I think it would have been more emotional. I'm just saying, in my personal experience, I feel like I haven't had a lot of times like that, like where I was like, oh, like I'm gonna reminisce and cry that I'm leaving and stuff. Like I'll be sad about it later, I think. But most of the time, I'm like, oh, this is just the way things are right now.
Well, I don't do that either. I mean, I don't cry about anything, but I do think that. I don't know. I think, you know, emotion shows gratitude. I heard that somebody say that one time. And I think emotion does show gratitude. And I think that's how people interpret it. I don't think they look at you and go, you're weird. I think if you're crying about something, they believe that it's hard for you to leave it. So they feel gratitude that, you know, I understand. I get that you're upset about this. This maybe meant something to you. I think that's why people cry at weddings. People cry at funerals. People cry at graduations. I think it's because it means something to them.
So yeah, the weddings and funerals I get, like I've sat at random weddings of people I didn't know before and like gotten teary-eyed almost. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then like at funerals, you know, it's obviously emotional. But I don't know, graduations are like happy. It's like a time to celebrate.
Oh, I'm not saying not graduations in general. I'm just saying there are moments in life where I don't think bubble pricking is the best way to do it. Especially if I've seen this happen so many times. Somebody else is trying to be very sincere and emotional, and somebody tries to put a bubble in it. And that's not a good time. That does not play well at all in the room. And I think back to the events we just did. You got teary-eyed at the Mary Ellen event. It wouldn't have been funny then to throw a line out. You know, it just wasn't the time or place for that.
Oh, I guess it depends on the line. I like jokes.
I just don't think that would have worked there. I think that would have sunk the room. I think you would not get a laugh there with a line that normally would get a laugh because of the emotion in that moment.
Yeah, that's true.
You got to be able to read the room.
Read the room, know your audience.
And also, when you do leave something for the last time, I think, you know, there is some kind of melancholiness to it because you enjoyed doing it.
Yeah, it's definitely sad, I guess, whenever you're like, oh, and I guess maybe that's just like my way of coping with it is trying to like block it out and be like, oh, you know, like
I think that's called suppression.
Day. Okay, well, maybe I'm just suppressing my emotions.
I don't think suppression's good, though.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, I think you let it out, and then people really feel that something has happened.
That's true. I mean, like you said, I'm sure people aren't going to look at you like you're weird or anything.
No, not in those moments.
Definitely.
Not in the final moments. You know, it's interesting because a lot of comedy shows have final episodes, and the ones that are remembered the most are because it's a comedy show. It made you laugh for 7 or 8 years, but the last episode is a very serious moment.
Friends.
Yeah, well, there you go. Now, would it have been funny if they would have just kept joking all the way out the door?
Yeah, I would have
It
loved
would've?
that.
I don't think that would have played as. I don't think people would remember it. I just don't.
Like, I think at the end they had, like, a sentimental hug and stuff, and they, like, closed the door, but if, like, they would have been hugging and then, like, Joey farted or something, that would have been funny. I would have laughed at that still.
Funny, but is that a good way to leave it?
I don't know. It's just, like,
I
an
don't-
authentic moment. I guess I don't see a huge problem with it. Like, I know what you're saying as, like, I guess you can, like, change the vibe, and, like, obviously, like, with, like, the Mary Ellen event, you know, that wouldn't have been a good time for, like, a funny moment, but I don't know, in a comedy show, or, like, I don't know, my life's like a comedy. I'm like, oh, another opportunity to laugh. Like,
I don't know. You know, I just
Jokes.
think the Mary Tyler Moore Show, and it's obviously before your time, but it's rated as the greatest last episode of all time. And Mary Tyler Moore won more Emmys than any other television show for the longest time. It was on for 7 years, and they get to the last moment of the final, and it was still funny, all the way up to the last scene. And in the last, and it goes down, I think it's still rated as the greatest last episode of all time. They get into a big hug. And they're all crying and they're all sad because they're leaving the newsroom for the last time. And they even went for the joke there. Because somebody says, is there any Kleenex? And they go, there's some on Mary's desk. And they all just hover together in this big hug over to the desk. But at the very end, they're singing. Because somebody says, the line is something like, how are we all going to get out the door like this? Because they're in this big hug.
Yeah.
And they said, well, that'll be easy. So they all sing and they one by one walk out the door. And then Mary's smiling as she goes out the door, but she stops and she turns back and she looks at the newsroom and kind of gets a sad face. And then she turns off the light.
Tears,
Then she
the
smiles.
tears.
She smiles
Okay.
and turns off the light. And you know what's interesting? People who were on, I talked to Betty White, who was on that show, and Ed Asner, both of them were on my show for that last episode, and they said they have never seen that episode not through tears, even when they've watched it again, because of just how well it was done. And it's funny, I learned this later on from Ed Asner, who was her boss, Lou Grant, on the show, because he came to Marion and did a show for me, that he said that they had to go back and reshoot that final scene where she looks back in the newsroom and shuts off the light, because the man who was controlling the lights was crying and he forgot to flip the switch off. So you can't jerk that moment.
Yeah.
There's no, if you try to jerk that moment with some kind of comedy, it isn't going to work. It won't mean the
but
same.
they did have comedy, like with the.
They did
the
have, yes,
scooping.
they knew where to play it.
Right.
But they also knew when she goes out that door, she's got to
not the
look
time.
back long. This
Yeah.
is one of the great times
Well,
of
yeah,
my
that
life.
was like the last scene. You acted like the whole last, like...
No, the last episode can still be funny, but that final moment where you sign off for the last time.
I agree with that. You want the final moment to be serious.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I think my speech was like that too. Like there were some funny parts, but at the end, I'm like, oh, it's been great. Like, thank you, everybody. You know, like it didn't end with the jokes.
I just think there are jokes in a final speech are fine. You got to make. I mean, jokes at a funeral I love, but I think at the very end you've got to punch it. You can't. In a sentimental moment, it's not good to end with a joke. It's good to end with something empowering.
Like Mary Ellen's speech.
What was Mary? Yeah, that was. We think at the end she went not. You
Not-
know?
yeah,
I
that
mean,
would've been funny.
And like, okay. You know, it would have been a cringe moment.
Right, but I feel like throughout her speech, like, not that there were specifically, like, funny moments I can remember, but it was, like, engaging, and I feel like there were a couple, like, things where I remember her laughing throughout it.
Well, nothing. I'm not saying that. I mean, clearly what we did got some humor. I mean, there was humor involved in that show, but in the end, you want to end. Everything is not a joke, I guess is the point. There's got to be some kind of sentimentality in your life. If there's not, I think there's probably some kind of problem.
Okay, I agree with that. I'm sentimental in some regard. Just, I
mean-
like to throw some humor in with it.
I mean, I have seen some of the hardest people in the moment when they know it's the last one. It's hard for them, you know, and it should be. I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't be.
Just knowing it's the end.
Just
Yeah.
knowing it's the end, that here comes the end, and I don't know, take it for what you will. And I think that's why he was emotional. I don't think he planned in that press conference to go out there and cry through the whole thing. I think he just knew this is it.
Who's he?
Jason Kelsey.
Oh, back to that. Sorry.
That's where we started.
Back to Jason Kelsey.
And that's how you moderate.
Yes, for sure. I do think that's why Jason Kelsey would have been emotional. Well, I mean, like you said, he was talking about like what's he gonna do next. So I'm sure he's just like overwhelmed.
Now go from a goofy or a serious subject to the most goofy subject maybe we've ever done on this show. But I love this subject because it's so stupid. Bradley Cooper. Do you know Bradley Cooper, the actor?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Okay, Bradley Cooper, big deal actor, said in a podcast that he walks around naked in front of his children, his 6-year-old children. And he said the reason he does this is because his dad always did it in front of him. So apparently this is a hereditary trait. So here's the idea. Is it okay to be naked in front of your children? Or is it okay to be naked in front of people in general? I mean, clearly not in public. But I thought this was an odd revelation for this man.
I mean, I don't.
Because we're very, no, you know why this is an interesting subject? Because we're very prudish in society about, like, art in different countries. It's always nude.
Yeah.
And when people paint in art classes, a lot of times it's nude. But there are certain places we don't want you to be nude. And apparently, in front of your children, people frowned on that.
6 is just kind of old, like, to be naked in front of your kids around them. Like,
Yeah,
I feel
but-
like it's not weird in, like, the beginning when you're, like, pretty young. Like, is he starting to transition out of being naked in front of his children, or is he...
I think he just likes to be naked. I don't think it has anything to do with the children. I think the children are just there.
Got it. But, like, eventually, if your kids are 15 and you're naked in front of them, like, that's kind of weird, right? Like...
I don't know. I never experienced that. But
I think that's going to be weird. Like, his kids are going to school at this point. Like, what if they're making inappropriate references and they're like...
I mean, I guess apparently,
I don't know.
I guess
like,
apparently it didn't matter all that much.
Don't say it on a podcast.
He said that his dad did it.
his dad did it with him.
And he was fine, obviously, so I
So I
don't
guess
know.
the question here is are we too prudish of a society? Because obviously we made a story of this. Should we have come down on him for this? I mean, it's his kid. I don't think there's anything illegal about that.
Nothing illegal, it's just weird.
Is it? I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't do
weird.
it. But
I
if
mean-
he wants to do it, go. I don't
I mean,
care.
just being like fully naked around your children, just like you should at least have like underwear and.
See, but I think that's
Yeah,
weird. I don't want to see people
underclothes.
walking around in their underwear.
Well, you
I'd
see,
rather
would you
have
rather
that
see
than
people walk around?
naked.
Yeah.
Frankly, I wouldn't be at any of these people's houses. I mean, let's be serious. But
Well, you see, I think there's like if I think there's.
once you come walking out in your
I think
underwear,
I think if
this
there-
ain't my kind of party.
But I think if there were people over, you're not in your. I think it's just like when you're home alone, and like his kids obviously live with him. So like if it's you, your wife, and then your kids, like, and you like I'm gonna get comfortable, and then you get in like your.
Is that the most comfortable? See, I'm more comfortable with
I guess.
clothes on.
I'm with you personally, but
Yeah.
like I do know a lot of people who will sleep and then just like when they get home from work they'll just like get,
No, see, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Now, this is an interesting subject. Now, some people like to sleep in the nude or sleep with not much clothes on. And I think that's nuts because there could be a fire. You need to have clothes on.
No, I mean it helps you sleep with less clothes on.
No,
than
it
more
doesn't.
clothes.
No, I would be nervous going to sleep at night.
I mean, like once again, I'm with you. I sleep with clothes on, but like I do believe that like sleeping without clothes.
I don't wanna
helps
see
with, like,
that.
the release of heat from the body, which helps keeps you in like REM sleep or something like
No,
that. I don't know.
no, I'd be in anxiety sleep.
Anxiety
Yes,
sleep.
I would know that people were going. Oh, the house could burn down, and I'm going to have to run out there nude. Can you imagine meeting the firefighters pulling up to your house, and there you are, just full Monty everywhere out in front of
I
everybody?
mean, bring a blanket or something. You're not sleeping with nothing on you. Like, wrap up and run.
Why do you have to sleep in the nude?
I mean,
we have
you don't,
pajamas.
You don't. But I'm just saying, if you are, I just have brothers, and so not
They
that
sleep
they're
in the nude?
not that they're in the nude. I mean, I'm not in their rooms at night, so I don't know what they do once the door is shut. But they walk around in their underwear, like they for sure like.
I love
to
when
not
you go
have clothes
personal.
on.
I love when you tell a personal story. There's nothing like when you tell a personal story. Because nothing will make people awkward as you telling a personal story. When I don't know what my brother's doing their night in the night in their room, but I think they might be naked. They may not. They may be. We don't know what they're doing in there.
Saying. I'm not
Oh
going in.
Lord!
I see enough
Oh,
whenever they're
your
like in
poor
the kitchen.
brothers.
Like whenever they're in the kitchen.
Your brothers
in
are
their
walking
underwear.
around nude in the kitchen, or in their underwear in front of you.
Yes. Yes.
Now, see, that's weird.
I agree. That is weird.
Why would you tell that story? Oh my Lord!
I think a lot of people that have brothers are subject to this.
Your
kind of
brothers
stuff.
are not young. I met them one
No.
time. They're not little boys.
No, my brother's like 19.
And he's walking around in front of you in his undies?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he is.
Matt,
Yeah.
is this as strange as it sounds?
No, I do believe this is fairly common.
Oh,
Yes, that's what I'm
God.
saying. I don't think this is like a revelation
Is
thing
it?
to say.
Yeah.
Where's it common? You do this at your house in front of your sister?
No, but my dad, like all throughout my life, he's walked around in his boxers. My brother still does it.
Now,
My
wait a
grandpa does
second.
it. My uncle does it. Like it's
Hold
It's common.
on.
This is
Stop.
common.
Stop this. Hold on. Hold on. Now, when we started this story, you two were both, oh, I don't think that's very good, and I
it's
don't
just
know if
'cause
that's a
what
good
if
idea.
he's
Yeah,
naked?
he's
Oh,
full
put a
on
pair of
nude.
underwear on. That'll fix everything.
I'm just saying, people can go to the beach. If
Yeah,
you're
like-
at the beach, you're seeing people basically in their underwear.
Yeah,
You're
like-
not seeing people naked. They're getting approached
Oh,
by the
no,
police
you're not.
and saying, put
No,
on some
you're
clothes.
not.
You're telling me
No.
you're telling me that like a two-piece bathing suit, like top and bottom, or like straight up just like swim trunks.
No.
Swim trunks are basically
Whoa,
boxers.
Yeah.
whoa,
And like
whoa.
a swim top and like
You
swim
cannot
bottoms
walk.
are literally just
Hold
No bra
on.
and underwear.
Let me in. Hold on. You cannot walk into a gym. You cannot walk on a beach in your underwear. There is a difference. People will know the difference. Just because the right amount of skin is showing,
It's
there
basically
is a
the same-
difference.
It's just
the
basically
same
the
concept.
same concept.
No,
yeah.
it is not the same concept.
Yes, it is.
Excuse me, it's not. If I saw you at the beach and you were in a bathing suit, that'd be no problem. We're at the beach. Okay, there she is in a bathing suit. If you walk out there in your underwear, I'm going to say, whoa, wait a second. I need to leave this beach. This is not the proper beach.
Whoa.
You
I
tell
don't
me that's
know.
not different. If even telling that story, hey, I saw Kerrington at the beach. She had an interesting bathing suit on. That's fine. I can tell that story. Hey, I saw Kerrington at the beach. She was in her underwear. That story's getting play.
I mean, if they know that they're underwear, yeah.
You wore your underwear to the beach?
No, I've not done that. I would not
Other
do
people have.
that.
Why not? It's the same thing as you say.
I mean, because there's appropriate swim attire. There's,
No,
like,
no,
the
no, no. They're the
fabric.
same. They're the same.
But they're the same.
They're the same.
They are the same
They're the
coverage
same.
wise.
Just next time, wear your undies to the
I'm
beach.
not wearing my undies
Why?
to the
It's the same, I
No,
heard.
but like it's
No, but like in your own home, like I can walk
No,
around.
no,
my
we're not
house
talking
in
about
a
home. We're
swimsuit.
talking about the beach.
Okay, but I'm.
Now, don't
talking
backpedal
about-
now. Where you guys just said to me, it's the same thing as a bathing suit. Your underwear is the same thing as a bathing
Coverage
suit.
wise, yes.
But no, it's not the same.
Yes, coverage wise it is.
okay. So how about this? So there are people who wear speedos.
Listen.
You're telling me that speedos are more appropriate just because they're swimming attire on a beach.
No, I don't want to
than-
see
than
that
straight
either.
Up, like,
No, I don't want to see that either.
But people can wear speedos on the beach and it's
speedos
fine.
are perfectly legal.
No, not to me, it's not.
Well, it is.
Also, I'm pretty sure if you
I don't
wear-
find that appropriate.
According to state law, that's appropriate. Speedos.
Well, God bless them. I don't really care what they do. I'm just saying it is not the same thing to walk around the beach in your underwear as it is a swimming outfit.
And that's fine.
Just like if you are at the gym. You don't go to the gym in your underwear, but you might, coverage-wise, be the same in the clothes you're working out in. It's just a different thing. Clothes are different.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, what gyms are you going to?
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Listen, I've seen those gym selfies that they take their clothes off to show you all this weirdness.
I'm thinking of like Olympic track athletes whenever they have to wear the like tiny like underwear shaped like running shorts. That's like all that's coming to my mind. But that's not at the gym really. Like it's in the Olympics. Like
I'm confused on how underwear and coverage are the same thing.
Because
It's not okay. Because if you saw somebody walking down the street in their underwear and somebody walking down the street in their
I'd
bathing
say,
suit,
are you homeless? You need a cult to join.
there's a difference. There definitely is a difference.
I mean, I guess it's different, and like I'm not going to wear that
It's
out.
different in the
public.
terms-
But
yeah,
like as far as like it being inappropriate to wear at your own house, I don't know. I feel like
I
guys
wouldn't-
wearing underwear walking around is normal,
Not your family.
but it is in my family.
Well, that's fine in your family, but I'm telling you,
I don't know. I think it's pretty normal.
Well, I don't allow any nakedness in my house. I don't allow anybody walking around in any type of
so
underwear.
Scott is kind of prudish.
No, listen, if I even see that, you have to leave.
Get
you have to
out.
leave. I say, listen, here's a towel, cover up, get out.
But you see, but that's the thing. Like it's your house. But if
I can't imagine going to get a bagel in the morning and have to pass by a person in their underwear. No, I'm not going to do that.
I don't enjoy it, but like, what am I supposed to do?
Wait.
I'm not gonna like run out of the room. I'm already there.
Say, do you have any pants?
I do sometimes, and they're like, "What's your problem?"
Now, but would you do that in front of them?
No,
Why?
because I'm not like that.
Prudish.
I'm prudish.
There you go.
I am prudish. I could have told you that.
So there's different. Oh, so says the girl who changes tops on the way over here.
that is not that weird.
I don't know. There was a whole thing with that for a long, long time.
That's not that weird.
It's a little different.
It's different. It's doing what you have to do. The show has to go on, you know.
It does, but I mean, you don't feel weird.
Changing in my car.
Yeah.
No.
Because people, I mean, it was summer. People could see.
No. they
Tell
weren't
people
looking.
are not understanding what we're talking about. Tell people what we're talking about. Because Matt and I wondered for a long time how you got changed so quickly and got to the radio station in like 10 minutes.
Yes.
Well, you told us one time.
Yes. So I would typically get off of work at 8, and then the Friday night show starts at 8:15, and typically I would be here on time before the show started with my clothes changed. And this went on for a few weeks, and eventually Scott and Matt were like, "How are your clothes changed?" And I was like, "I just change in the car on the way here, like at stoplights. I'm like, red light, time to take my shirt off and change." And I would just change in the car as I was driving because I didn't have extra time. So I had to do
Right,
what I
but
had to do.
I said, well, what is under your clothes? Because I thought maybe you had like a T-shirt under there or something.
Oh, no.
No,
Sports bra.
sports bra.
Yep.
Now, coverage-wise, similar.
Yeah, people go to the gym and can work out in sports
That's
bras.
what I was saying. And you jumped all over me for saying the gym, and that is totally different.
No, because you didn't specify. You just had mentioned
Some
like,
women have to wear sports
we
bras
had
all
just
the time.
we had just got done talking about the beach, and then you were like, "Oh, and people wear that kind of stuff to like gyms."
They
and I was
do.
all, no.
Oh, yes, they
You're
do.
telling
A
me-
sports bra?
They wear sports bras
At
to
the
the gym.
gym. At the gym, not the
Yeah.
beach.
See, because
That's what I'm talking about. What do you think I was talking about?
he had said, "Oh, well, when I had mentioned that beforehand, you jumped all over us, or jumped all over."
Yeah,
me."
because it's a sports bra.
Yeah, but
They don't
like,
call your bathing suit top a bra.
But like you didn't mention.
There's some men at the
so,
beach
like,
who need a bra, by the way.
when
But
we-
that's a
when-
whole other thing.
When we had jumped all over you for mentioning the gym, it was because you hadn't mentioned anything about sports bra. We were talking like we.
Well, what are you wearing at the gym?
We had just gotten from like talking about how beach clothes were appropriate at the beach and things like that, and then all of you were just like, and people wear clothes like that at like the gym, and we were like, people do not wear beach clothes at the gym.
We had an interesting moment around here around Christmas time when I don't remember how the subject all came up, but it was about going to the Olentangy when it's cold outside and jumping in. But you can't jump in your clothes, apparently. You have to jump in, I don't know, in your bathing suit or underwear.
Well, I wouldn't recommend jumping into your clothes because then like
Right,
you don't
but I
have
mean,
anything
is that
warm
what
to
people
put on.
do? Do people get half nudie and go out there and jump in?
Yeah, on The Bachelor, actually.
Yeah, Vladimir Putin did that.
Like a couple weeks ago, they
Oh,
had
well,
an
if he
episode.
did it, it's okay then.
It's called a polar plunge, and they did that.
How
on
would you
there.
do that?
Yeah,
Really?
I think so.
So in that particular case, it's okay.
I'm pretty sure it's
Yeah.
just a thing done.
See,
in, like,
I don't
the, like, the
understand
Russian
any of
Orthodox
this.
religion.
You guys make zero sense. Zero. I'm telling you, people are watching this. They're going to need cliff notes to try to understand what the two of you are saying. It's okay in your house. It's okay at the gym. It's not okay at the beach. It's not. It's okay with the polar plunge. It's either okay or it's not. Okay or it's not.
No, that's not true. There are a lot of things where there's not universal rules like applying to them.
I don't want to see that anywhere. I'm telling you right now, I swear to God, if I got up from my bed in the morning and walked in and there's somebody in their underwear right there, that's not the time I want to see somebody in their underwear.
Well,
It's
like
morning.
Well, yeah, but it's like, once again, it's your house. You live there. You don't live
Right.
with anybody. So if I woke up to somebody in my house with their underwear off too, and I lived alone, I'd probably be
No,
pretty,
it's not.
disturbed.
It's not like somebody wandered in from outside. I'm saying somebody who's a guest. I've had guests in my house. If they just walked out there in
Well,
their
you see,
underwear,
That's a guest,
Yeah,
though.
I think that's a little different because once again, it's not
I'd say,
their
guess
house.
what? You gotta go.
It's not
It's
their
not-
house.
Yeah,
So excuse me. I guess it's a territorial thing.
it is. You
They
can't
pro-
be
they
naked
probably-
at other people's homes,
that's-
but in your own
that's
home,
weird.
I mean, what am I gonna do?
Oh, they probably pee on the carpet
Private
too. I
home.
guess mark their territory. Excuse me.
They might.
If you're naked at home in front of people you live with, well, you're not. That's improper to be naked in front of a guest.
I agree.
Yeah.
When my friends come over, if my brother was in his underwear, I'd be like, this is kind of weird. But has it happened before? Maybe.
No, you know if it's happened before or not.
I mean, I can think of specific instances with Xander. Yeah.
There
My
you-
younger
Apparently,
brother.
this boy's got no modesty at all.
Yes.
Does he just feel comfortable in his no clothes?
Yeah, for sure.
You know what? We're going to come back and we're going to have clothes on. I'm going to tell you that right now. We're going to come back with much more and current events right after this. And we're back, and nobody's taken their clothes off during the break, oddly enough, but more exchange coming at you here. Next topic. Okay, this is kind of an odd one. I don't think we'll get a whole lot out of this, but it's an interesting topic. A person brought a friend to a tennis club to meet other friends of theirs. Now, the other friends are inviting the friend they brought to events. So this is called friend poaching. Have you ever had a friend poached, where you then felt like the third wheel? They liked the friend more than they liked you.
No. I mean, not that I can think of, and I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you think that your friends are being poached, you might have some insecurities there. It's not like it's like.
Why does everything come back to? I don't think this is insecurity. I think it's truth. Like, if they're inviting your friend that they didn't know from Adam.
In terms of like poaching, like you could use poaching in terms of like, oh, I poached your worker, because like your worker no longer works for you anymore. But like you can't poach a friend because like this person just gained a friend. It's not like this person took your friend from you. It's not like you minus one friend because he gained a friend. There's no loss here. There's no poaching.
Well, I think it is, because if they are doing things with that other person without you and you were the connection, you might feel left out.
It sounds to me like you're just like jealous.
Well, I don't know that that's jealousy, because you made the connection and now they're hanging out. Apparently you were just the middle person.
I guess maybe I'm just confused and I don't see the issue here.
This isn't my story. This is just a story that has happened. I mean, somebody obviously feels like their friend was poached. I can understand. See, people say they don't feel like that, but that's baloney. Because if you had a really good friend and all of a sudden you took them somewhere just thinking, hey, I'll have you come along. And then all of a sudden they were just doing their own thing and you weren't a part of it anymore. They were just leaving you on out of everything. You can't say that wouldn't bother you. If you do, then maybe you're just solitary. Because clearly they're excluding you now.
I mean, if I brought my friend somewhere, I don't know that I'd want to have to babysit my friend at
I'm talking about that night. I'm talking about.
You gotta bring somebody who's self-sufficient to things. I mean, I don't want somebody following me around the thing all day.
No, I think you're confused. It's where they meet that friend, and now all of a sudden they don't need you anymore. Now at the tennis club, it's the new friend and them, and you're not being invited.
I still just don't see an issue here.
Well, you won't have to worry about anybody following you around because you'll be at home.
If I invited this man to play tennis, I'm sure he'd still come play tennis with me. It's just now that these two are friends, this man says, "Hey, you want to come play tennis?" And it's like, "Yeah, sure." And now
But not you.
Tennis is a 2-people game.
No, but
or a 4-people game. There's no 3 people involved in tennis.
It's a tennis club. I'm not sure that they're playing tennis. They could be playing anything. I don't think that's the point of this story. The point of this story is they could be playing cards in the break room. The point is a friend, they put you out. You brought these people together, and now they don't need you.
I think you might just be, like, I don't know.
You know what? I don't even know why I'm trying to explain it. Whatever is what I'm saying. Go ahead.
I have not had a personal experience like this, but I've definitely seen and heard other people complaining about instances like this and in situations like this before. I am kind of with Matt in this, but mine's more so of I would probably just invite everybody. I'm typically a more the merrier kind of person with hangout things. So if I met somebody through another person, I would.
I don't think you're getting
both
this.
of them.
I think you're missing the point here. You are not a part of this. You were only a part for the initial get together. You brought the friend. You were going to meet your friends at the tennis club. These are your good friends, and you have a friend here. You say, "Hey, Billy, let's go to the tennis club." So you and Billy go to the tennis club, and you all have a grand old time there.
Right.
And then you find out that the group of friends, your group of friends, has now called Billy, and they're going to the tennis club, and nobody called you. They don't need you.
It sounds to me like...
I would cry.
Oh, now we get to it. That's called friend poaching.
I would cry.
It just sounds to me like you're sad because your friends.
It's not that you brought every... No, because you're not all together anymore. They're leaving you out.
It doesn't matter. You don't need to roll into a group. You don't need to be a group.
Why are you with these people to begin with, I guess is the point. If you don't need them...
If it's a group, it depends on the context. Because it's like, yeah, if it's a group of, like, 8 people and you're the one person that didn't get invited, it's like, oh, what are the odds that, like, they had to have exactly 8 people and, like, I'm obviously the 9th man on the totem pole here.
You know what? Listen, you got to be self-aware. Because, first of all, I know darn well that if I have a group of people that I am with all the time or on a regular basis, and then I say to one of those people, I say, you know what? You can just stay home. Just don't worry. You know, we don't need you that week. Just relax. No problem. And then you bring somebody else in, that could create a problem.
For
because
sure.
you know that you're being left out.
Matt's not buying it. I agree. I think that would hurt my feelings.
I feel like if
I
you're,
was the, like,
I
one
feel like if
left
you're
out.
upset because your friends made new friends, you should probably just yourself make some new friends.
Okay, I don't think we're going to make any headway on this, but the actual point is, it's not about, yes, they made new friends, that's fine. Nobody's having a problem with that. The problem is, they have now excluded you.
I don't have
That's
to be.
the point.
I don't have to be invited to everything that these two
You're not
people
being
now
invited
do
to
together.
anything that
I
they're
don't
doing.
care. I just.
Well, then why
I
did you
don't
have them
see
there
the
to begin
issue.
with? Leave them home.
Because, like, see, this is like the same issue I come into, like, with like, relationships.
No, listen,
we
no, hold
don't
on,
need
no,
to
wait
be
a
doing
second.
everything together. You have friends, I have
Oh,
friends, we can do
Lord.
things separately. We are all individual people.
Yes, we are all individual people. But let's say you have a specific group, and when you get together, you tend to get together the same group all the time. And then one time you just leave a person off. You say, we're just not even going to bother to tell them that we're doing. And then the next time you see that person, you're like, boy, we had that great time doing that thing right in front of that person. That's going to cause a little bit of problem.
My friends have done that to other people.
There you go.
But it wasn't like we met other people through them. That was just like, we don't think that you're a great person, and then you just kind of get, left out slowly. Yeah.
It's even negative.
Yeah.
Whatever. Frankly, I could. This would not happen to me because I feel.
You've got the Riz.
I got the Riz. Everybody wants to be around me. But no, I really don't think that I would feel poached. Because that somebody would be poaching the person. Because probably I'm bringing them to the group to get rid of them. Because I probably don't want to be around them anymore. We're going to be in a big group. I don't want to be alone with them anymore. Let's hope these people like them.
I don't like the big groups. You should hang out with one person at a time.
Well, see, then you don't have to worry about poaching if it's just you and one person.
That's true.
Exactly.
See, that's insecurity.
See,
because you don't have to worry about the person leaving if it's just you. There's no competition there.
I love
I don't have to worry about people. In that case, you could argue that I don't have to worry about people leaving if I have no friends. People can't leave if they don't exist.
That's true.
I think that's the point.
I have friends. My friends.
Well, I'm not saying you don't have friends.
I'm confused by.
Hey,
your
listen, a guy
argument
hugged you
here.
the other day. Before you know it, he'll be walking around in his underwear over at your house. It'll be a whole thing.
No.
Apparently, that's the way it goes.
It is.
And the world spirals
Slippery
around.
slope.
It's a slippery slope. Before you know it, bad things like that are happening. All right, here we go. On to the next topic. A new study says there's an upside to gossiping. Whoa, how about that?
Oh,
there's an
no.
upside to it.
Don't give people a reason to. Awful decision.
There's a new study out. There's an upside to gossiping. It helps people collaborate and provides useful information.
See, but I think the issue with gossip is that a solid, 85% of it's fake. Or if it's not fake, it's highly exaggerated.
Right, but I think people bond over gossip.
Yeah, but it's fake.
Not
I
always,
think
not
it is.
always.
I feel like the collaboration aspect is true, but learning useful information, I feel like what makes it gossiping is that it's not useful information. It's just like talking about people and in other people that aren't around and that stuff you don't really need to know.
I don't think
If it was
that's true.
useful,
I don't know, because sometimes you got to cut out the middleman. Because let's say somebody's not a nice person, but they put on a phony persona, and you know that, but the person you're with doesn't know that, and they come over and, oh, it's so nice to meet you. Oh my gosh, you look so nice, and it's so great, and you smile, and you know that they're putting that on because you've seen them do that for many times. You can live with, they're a big phony. They're just a big phony. That's gossip, but I think it's helpful. I think that's useful information.
I mean, maybe,
Now, if you don't
but
want
it's
that,
still,
fine.
But it's
Find out
still
on your own.
perception of them. They're not getting the chance to make their own first impression. Just because you had a negative experience with this
I'm not
person.
talking. No, I'm not talking about my experience with them. I'm talking about what I have seen them do to others. I don't think you should ever base anything in your own personal experience. I think, of course, there's going to be a bias there. You've got to see it with other people. You've got to see it like a movie.
I mean, still then, I don't know. I feel like it's not your place to, like, tell other people,
Everybody's
how they
got
should
their-
feel about
Yeah,
another
everybody's got
person.
their, like,
Yeah, but everybody does
there
it.
are a
I
billion...
know, but I think it's gossip, and I don't think it's necessary.
Everybody who knows you has a different version of you, like, in their head. There are a
Yes,
billion
but-
different versions of you in everybody's head who knows
Exactly.
you.
Exactly. Some people
So
will
how,
hate you,
how,
some
so
people
how
will
can
love
you
you.
say, hey, this person's a phony when, I mean, like all of their friends are obviously going to disagree with you. They're their friends.
I don't know. Some people have phony relationships.
I mean, that's true, but, like, I still, maybe this friend of yours and this phony person will get together and have a great phony relationship, and they're happy.
All
like
I know
that.
is I have found out some of the best information on people through gossip, and if it hadn't been done, I mean, you can call it confidential sources, you can call it whatever you want, but it's gossip. You know, you can believe it's true or not. I mean, you always are the decider. If somebody says that person's a phony, you ultimately decide if you want to be around them again. But if you do find out they're a phony, you might look back at that person and go, oh, you know what, they were right. And maybe if I would have fast-tracked this, I wouldn't have this problem right now. I mean, you wouldn't want to know. Let's say you knew that somebody had been in an abusive relationship, physically abusive, and that person you see trying to hit on somebody else. Now, you don't think that it's a good idea to go tell them? I mean, that would be under the gossip bandwagon,
I'm not saying it's a bad
because they
idea.
could find out themselves.
I mean, yeah, but they still could find out themselves. If you
You
feel,
just wait for that?
But if
They
you
find out
feel
themselves when they
like
didn't.
this person is terrible enough that you're like, I need to like interject myself and like tell them this because I would feel like bad knowing what I know without them knowing, then I guess like it's useful information. But like at the end of the day, if you don't say anything, I don't think that you're at fault.
No, I don't think you're at fault, but I certainly think the idea that useful information is not passed along in gossip is not true.
I mean, it's useful, but it's just going to impact your perception
Well, I mean,
of
just
another
a
person.
lot of the times, like gossip.
If you don't
want
wanna
to
know,
hey,
fine.
I heard, hey, I heard, and then like anytime you say, like anytime you hear, I heard X from Y, you like just don't.
I don't do the I heard, but I'll do what I know firsthand if I've seen it.
I mean, I saw is different from I heard, but then I guess I don't think I saw is gossip.
Why not? If it's nothing scientific or in a big scheme of things important, then why isn't it gossip? What's gossip then? Gossip is I don't know the facts.
I'm on it, you guys. I'll
Yeah.
define gossip for
It's the
us.
definition.
Yeah, I just don't think that that's true, though. I think gossip is minute things. It's silly things that don't really have the greater impact on the world.
It's casual or unconstrained
There
conversation
you go.
or reports about other people, typically involving details that are not confirmed as being true.
There you go. Not confirmed.
Right. So it's like talking about other people whenever they're not present to like hear about it.
So what if the person's not present and I say, you know what, they really stunk at that? Now that's true, so that's not gossip.
No, but it's still gossip because it's your
But it's
opinion.
true. Now,
It's your
according to
opinion,
that,
though.
no, it's true to me.
True to you, so that's your opinion.
But what if the other person goes, yeah, they did stink?
It's both of your opinions.
So everything is subjective.
Everything is subjective.
I mean,
Then how is there gossip and how is there truth?
Well, I mean, there's facts of like what happened. Like they gave a presentation.
if I punched
Fact.
Kerrington,
What if I think that's not a presentation? What if I think that was just a speech?
Well, no, but they told you it's
is
a
a
presentation.
speech
at the
not a
beginning.
presentation?
Yeah, but
They're the same thing.
No, they're not. A presentation, I think, is where you show pictures
Okay,
and
great.
slides and
They gave a
things.
speech.
See, right here we go.
There's-
you
speech
still have
was
to
bad.
present.
All I'm saying is all gossip is not phony. I think that's a bad definition
No,
of
it's not
gossip.
all phony. It's just it's not. You don't know that it's true. Like the person being, like like you're like I think that they're a phony person. Like just because you've had bad instances with them, and like yourself or like with people doesn't mean that that's how they are in general.
I think gossip can bring people together sometimes.
For sure.
I mean, you have this little thing you share, and it's gossip.
Yeah.
But
No,
it's-
gossip's necessary. Like
Yeah.
I love to gossip.
So there you go. But is it
Right.
all untrue?
No, I mean I'd say hopefully most of it's true,
There you go.
or at least true to me.
True to you.
True to me.
I don't know. Anyway, this is kind of interesting. The Veterans Affairs Group, a memo has been leaked that was sent out by the Veterans Affairs Group telling all vets' offices to take down the iconic photo from World War II of the guy grabbing a hold, the soldier getting back from World War II, grabbing a hold of the girl and kissing her. Now, the reason is because this photo is considered non-consensual. Because he just grabbed a hold of her and kissed her. It wasn't his girlfriend, it wasn't his wife. And she has said she didn't know it was coming. The girl who I think has since died, who was in the picture. Mm-hmm. So, should this have to come down now? The picture that's known as the kiss? I guess kiss off.
I mean...
I don't know. It's hard for me to form opinions on subjects like this. Cause I
well,
guess
then go ahead and gossip.
If the girl, wants the picture to be gone, I guess you can
The girl
try.
is gone herself.
Okay, well
the
then...
girl has went on to her reward.
I don't know. I think it is what it is. The picture's there.
I think if she didn't necessarily... I don't know. I think if the lady who was in the picture, like you said, she's dead. So, she obviously lived long enough to see the picture to... she was obviously asked about it. So, she never specifically said she didn't like the picture or anything like that. So, I don't know.
But we've morphed into this society now where you don't do that. You wouldn't do that today.
Right. For sure, you could get in trouble.
Yeah, but I don't see. But I don't think people don't know that it's a, for lack of a better term, forced kiss.
It looks it. If you look at it, you can tell.
Oh.
Yeah, because I don't know the picture.
She's not got it's an iconic photo. Mm-hmm. She's not got her arms around him. He's got her bent over, and he said. I think the soldier said at one point in his life that he was just so happy the war was over.
He's like, I'm gonna give. He
was celebrating.
He's girl a passionate kiss.
You used to be able to do that.
Kiss strangers in public, non-consensually. Those were the good old days.
I think this is what I said in the beginning. I think somewhere we've become far more prudish and far more judgmental of everything. Gossip, nudity, this sort of thing, touching. I don't really know that everything has an ulterior motive. I don't think this man had an ulterior motive. I think he came back from war. And I think it could have been any woman standing there. I don't think it had anything to do with this woman. I don't know why everything has to have some kind of ulterior motive. Did she want to be kissed? No. But was it the end of the world? No.
I kind of see what you're saying, where it's like, I don't know, it's a different time, like you said. You definitely couldn't do that today, because that would be strange.
Everything's got an ulterior motive today. Everybody believes that everything means something. Now, I'm not saying things don't mean something. Some things do mean something. But not everything.
I put it all in the rise of social media. Blame it all on social media.
Well...
I was going to say, kind of, with the picture, it obviously would have been a fleeting moment if there wasn't a photograph of it, where, people have, it turned into something that was, more iconic. So, the fact
But people thought it was iconic.
Because there was a picture of it. If there wasn't, a picture that, has now morphed into, social media, people wouldn't have these strong opinions. So, kind of...
I just think I think all of these stories lead up to a very interesting point, and that's we are all very... everything has to mean something. Everything's got an ulterior motive. Everybody's out for something. And I don't know that that's true. I think sometimes people are just doing things to be nice. Now, if you look hard enough, you can probably convince yourself that there's an ulterior motive in there somewhere. But there isn't always. Sometimes people are just doing things to do them.
I agree with that. I think sometimes, we talked about this previously, where we're having conversations of us, perceiving different events, and one person will kind of say something, and I'm like, oh, wow, I wouldn't have thought that at all. So, I feel like in a lot of instances, it's, people obviously, perceiving situations and then taking their own inferences from whatever they thought they saw or did see.
Well, we've talked a lot about the whole going in a different direction idea. Sometimes people will take that very personally, like they weren't doing very well or something like that. It could have been just somebody got an offer... a better offer that they thought, well, maybe this person will be better and they're more well known and that'll be a better fit. It might have had nothing to do with that person except the fact that they needed a hole for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so it's maybe that wasn't a personal attack against you, but obviously that person's probably going to perceive it that way because they're the ones that are being gone in an opposite direction from.
Right. So I think, but again, that wasn't what was being done. What was being done was this is going to be better on the whole. And sometimes you do things that are better on the whole, rather than I don't, rather than have some big ulterior motive involved.
I feel like that's why it's always important to give things the benefit of the doubt, because there are situations like that. You know, if I were fired from a job, like obviously I would probably take that as a personal offense, but like in the situation you just described, it's like, no, maybe they honestly didn't like have anything against you. It was like, oh, we just had like a better person come along for the position.
You see,
so
if they fired you to replace you with somebody else, obviously you were the least good worker. You were bringing in, I mean, I don't know, I guess in whichever case you're bringing in the least amount of money for them.
Well, I'll tell you what I dislike. I dislike, because obviously what we're talking about here is a lot of world of celebrity or well-known people. What I dislike is when somebody gives you an opportunity. Okay, you were, for better or worse, an anonymous person. You were just an average, normal person, and they give you an opportunity. And for some reason, you have some kind of falling out. Now, maybe they caused it, or you caused it, or whatever happened. And then now, because they made you into something, for good or bad, they made you into something that people know, you start to use that platform to trash them. You wouldn't have a platform if they didn't give it to you. Mm-hmm. So even if you don't like what they did, even if they did something horrible, I don't think you trash the people who brought you there. You can say nothing.
I mean, I don't know. I think if somebody did something horrible and you think it's horrible and you feel the need to say something about it, you could say something about it.
Yeah, but in that, if they gave you that position to comment, nobody'd be asking you anyways. If you didn't have a connection to them, nobody'd be asking you. Like, I hate people who write tell-all books about other people. You can write your own tell-all book, but to write it about somebody else, because you weren't close enough, you wouldn't have been close enough unless they let you in. So why are you turning on them?
Well, I mean, I would assume something had to have happened. I mean, I don't think...
Something does happen, but I'm saying you wouldn't have the platform. Nobody would care what you had to say.
But, I mean, I don't think it necessarily matters.
I think that looks very disingenuous.
I mean, I think at some point you got to do what you think is best for you.
Well, yeah, you can be selfish, I think. But I don't think
whether or not it works out is...
I think it's a bad look.
Yeah, Star Jones is coming to mind right now, the Star Jones situation.
But you know what? In the end, she made up.
What do you think would have happened to Star Jones had she not done that?
I think her career would have continued on a steady level. But you don't trust somebody who stabs you in the back. And that's what Barbara Walters told people. Said, yes, we did lie for her. Yes, we told her to go out there and say anything. And look what she did to us. She said, we're all liars. Okay. Now, you going to hire that person? With that kind of track record? Yeah, and by the way, there had been no Star Jones had there not been Barbara Walters. Hadn't she given her the job?
Yeah.
Obviously
it didn't work out well for her.
No,
so, I mean,
and it did. And in Rosie O'Donnell, I mean, she had a career before The View, but when she went after Barbara Walters, it killed her career for many, many years. You cannot be disingenuous to the people who give you the opportunity. You know, you just shouldn't be. I mean, it comes off, it's very, it looks like sour grapes.
Yeah. It definitely shows like a lack of gratitude, and it stinks because it's like obviously this person like saw something in you and like wanted to give you an opportunity or like felt connected to you for some reason, like wanted to get closer with you, and then you turn around. I mean, it's weird because like it depends like what the person did. Like if they killed your parent or something, like I mean maybe that's a reason.
Yes, but
you know what I'm saying? Like I think there's some situations where you could obviously be like, what the heck, but
I'm talking about work situations
Yeah.
here. I'm talking about very just personal situations where, because people do get worked up at somebody when they feel somebody has done something to them. Because also it's interesting, the closer you get to somebody, even if they do give you the break, then if they do something that you don't feel is in line with what they've done, then they're being disloyal to you. You know, all of a sudden, now you're turning on me.
Also, so like, I think people should only feel the need to be loyal to themselves. I don't think you should do something because somebody else is doing it that you know. I don't think you should feel the need to be loyal to that person. If you don't like the idea of doing it, why are you doing it just because they're doing it? That's poor idea.
I don't think that's the question here.
Doing something out of loyalty is just doing something because somebody else did it.
No, I'm not saying...
I trust that person.
No, I don't think you do that. I'm just saying I don't think you should trash the person who gave you the platform.
What are the terms for, like, why would I be trashing this person?
That's my question. Why would you be?
Well, no, just like what? Like, what happened?
Because listen, I'll give you an example. Again,
Like, well, obviously I was upset. It's not like nothing happened. I just decided to go to Twitter and start hating on them.
if they fire you, if they go in a different direction, if all of a sudden they're not as friendly with you, maybe they don't want to be in social settings with you anymore, you might take that as disloyalty because there has been some kind of closeness there. Now you see them in a different way. Oh, they changed. They have a little different attitude about them. Well, yet they are, listen, regardless, they gave you the start, whether or not, no matter what they did.
I agree. I mean, it's not your place to go out there and then like bash them, especially if it's like untrue stuff. Like if you were let go, you can't make up some like reason that you were. If you don't
you could
know
even
what
tell the
facts
truth.
were. Yeah.
But you know what the problem with that is? It always comes off bad because it looks like you're trying to make yourself relevant at their expense, even if it is true. Mm-hmm. Because you could always say nothing.
Yeah, I mean, especially in a situation where they invited you and like you wouldn't have been there without them. So it's like, thanks for the opportunity.
It just sounds to me like you're trying to say that like lying in this situation is the more honest thing to do.
Lying.
Yes.
I don't know that's a lie.
If I was fired and I said, well, like I'm just leaving the show because I got some other things going on and I'm busy doing this and this and that, that's a lie.
It is a lie, but it's better for you.
So lying in this instance is more honest than telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That.
Because I'll tell you,
valuable logic.
no, because once you're, I'm sorry, that's just the world of being well known. If you are fired, that's a headline. Do you want that? Post that on the, obviously on our scale here, and I'm not saying this in reality, but let's say, breaking news on the WGH Facebook page, Kerrington Nelson has been let go. That doesn't play well for her trying to get a job because why was she let go? Why don't they want her anymore? Mm-hmm. Why do we want something somebody else didn't want? Mm-hmm. Maybe there's something we don't know. But Kerrington Nelson leaves WGH for other opportunities. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to think anything of that. They're going to think, well, they just parted amicably. She's going on to other things. Maybe she's good, didn't want to do that anymore. Nobody really knows. Damaging to be canned.
Definitely.
Because people will say, well, why did they can him? And then also, a lot of people will do that just to hurt you on the way out. Because they'll say, oh, you want to do that? Okay, you're fired. And then people don't want you. Because then what? You're damaged goods.
You're a reject.
We don't want you. You can have our trash.
Then they can be like sloppy seconds.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So yes, you should lie in that position. If they come to you and give you the opportunity, because you're going anyway. Listen, you're not staying here. You've got to go. But we will protect you. We will say whatever you want to say. What's wrong with that?
Just lying, I don't know.
Well, maybe you should be, I guess just say fired.
Do what you want.
Do what you want. You're gone. Blow them on. How do you feel about that?
I think I see what you're saying. Definitely, if you're in a position where people are looking at you, then it does make more sense if it's not leaving like questions like, oh, like what happened? Like what's wrong with them? If you're just kind of like, oh, I'm going in another direction,
other opportunities. If you're in the business, wouldn't you already understand that like nobody's fired? Like people get fired, but nobody's fired. Like everybody's leaving in search of other opportunities or leaving to continue doing something or another. Like nobody's ever really fired.
No, some people leave.
Yeah, but like
some people leave because maybe they wanted more money, maybe they wanted more days off, maybe they just didn't want to do it anymore. Mm-hmm. That happens. That's different than them telling you, no, we've had enough. Please don't come back. But that's harsh to say.
Why?
Because why do you want that? If that person wants to continue on in that career, what's your reference?
They do things that like, you could always just play it as like, they don't lean into my strong suits.
But they started you. I think you have no suits. The people who started you don't want you.
Yeah.
You can be wrong. First round picks are usually often the ones that are considered busts because they're the highest.
And you think the sports people who say, listen, goodbye, don't come back here, your contract, we don't want you anymore. You think the other teams are knocking themselves over to hire that person?
Maybe. It depends.
They fired him for a reason.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what have we learned here with a minute left to go?
I've learned that Scott is not okay with nudity in the home. He would be very uncomfortable around my brothers.
I'm not okay with partial nudity in the home.
Full nudity is fine. Partial nudity
No, not
in the
full
home.
nudity is not fine. No, no,
Partial
no, 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 no,
nudity
no,
is
no,
okay.
no.
Oh man, you know,
Quick.
we talked about everything.
We talked a little bit about everything.
I think I learned today that you should lie.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You should lie
The
to
moral
save
of this
face.
story is
Be
lie.
naked and lie.
Be naked and lie in whatever you do. Yeah, jeez. Anyway, that brings this episode to an end, and we're glad you paid attention, and we're glad you watched, and you can catch these episodes on YouTube. Search The Exchange, Scott Spears. For Kerrington and Matt, this is Scott heading for the dugout.